you're going to die and your site is going to fail. That's kind of the story of this video. We just like to really bring everybody down. Not really.
No, we don't.
All right, so this video is about 6 signs that your site is going to fail. The reason we want to do this is because everybody feels some anxiety when you're making your site. Even though we've made a dozen sites, still when I'm typing on a brand new blog post for a new site, which by the way I did this morning,
awesome.
You feel that way. You feel like, oh man, is anybody ever really coming here? Is this ever really going to turn into an income? So we've put together 6 actual hard number signs that you can look for. And if you're not seeing these, you should feel fine about your website. When you do see these, you'll know that it's time to course correct.
So the reason that most people feel like they're going to fail, even if they don't see these signs, is that it takes a while, right? Mm-hmm. It takes a while for new content on a new site to gain any sort of authority and thereby getting rankings on Google, right? And traffic. So if 8 months hasn't passed since you wrote your content, you need to stop worrying about this right now. If it's been 8+ months for some of your content and you're averaging less than 100 page views per post per month, 100 page views per post per month, that's a mouthful. If you're averaging less than that, that's a sign that we've got some trouble here. This is an easier metric to see over time as you have more and more content hit that 8-month mark. But if you're consistently getting posts that don't surpass that 100 page view per month mark, we've got an issue here.
There are some exceptions to this. If you have a site that's just extremely well monetized, you know, you're writing a site about life insurance or something where it's easy to turn a really high profit on those leads, then maybe we do accept it. But generally, that's a really, I mean, if we're not even getting 100 page views per post per month on average, it's a problem. Our goal is 1,000 page views per post per month.
Again, this is an average, right? Because even on our site, sometimes you just get that dog that, we had a pet's website and there were lots of dogs. No. Sometimes you get that dog of a post that is like 12 page views per month. But then you get that other one that's 5,000. So if your average is in that 100 mark, even if you're at 400, 500, 600, you're doing just fine.
That's just fine.
Yep.
But if we're under 100, search analysis is wrong, or we're writing the wrong kind of content to rank on Google. All right, the next one is if there is no future past $12 EPMP, I would stop production on that website. So EPMP is a very important metric because it's talking about your monetization as a whole from all sources. Just how much money are you making per 1,000 page views? And the reason that we say $12 is you should get there on most sites. $12 is like a pretty normal RPM for just putting ads on your webpage. And so if you can't get past even just the normal, something is wrong. Like maybe you have a site that you're getting $8 from ads. It's just lower for whatever reason. Sometimes it happens. The audience isn't as monetizable for advertisers. But then you say, man, my affiliate isn't doing well. My info product isn't doing well. If you just see like, I can't get past this, it would just take so much volume to earn a profit that it's one that I would probably just stop and move to something else.
So a couple examples of sites that we thought would be really fun to make that might fall into this category, which by the way is why we haven't made them, is one is just how much stuff weighs. We have had excellent success on many of our sites with how much does X product weigh? How much does a camper weigh? We've shared that many times. Drove a ton of traffic.
How much does a Traeger weigh? How much does a camera weigh? How much does a car weigh? Like people are searching it.
With the rich snippets and stuff that people wouldn't actually go to the post.
Oh, they do.
It's still happening. But how do you monetize that beyond just ads? People don't stay very long. There's not much of an affiliate link. Maybe in some cases the product, a Traeger or whatever.
Yeah, so what do you do? Think about that. Like, so let's say the Traeger is an example. How much does a pellet smoker weigh, right? People come, they see the answer like that, right? And they're going to leave. So for ads, if they don't see that ad for 15 seconds, at least 50% of the ad doesn't count. And so, we may not do well on ads because they're not spending too long on the page. And then affiliate. So I'm searching how much does a Traeger weigh? I see your answer. Does that really,
it's not convincing
am I
me to go
feeling
buy.
like, oh yeah, I'm buying now? It's not really.
I was really worried it'd be over 100 pounds.
People aren't coming for, there's just, they aren't coming for your link like in a review or something like that. So even if you had it, that's not really why they're on the page. And so it wouldn't do well with affiliate. I can't even imagine how boring an info course would be on how much stuff weighs.
Here's how to weigh objects on a scale.
And now grams. So that site could get, I know I could get 1 million page views to that site, but still, with such low EPMPs, I just wouldn't do it. So if you can't see a future past $12 EPMP, I don't think I want to make this site.
The next one is having the wrong audience in mind. This might seem super obvious, but so many people do this very, very wrong. Imagine you have a site like you're a doctor, right? And you're like, what kind of site? Yes, Dr. Jim. And
this
what
is
kind
how
of
doctors stand?
What kind of site would I want as a person in my particular field? That's the way people think. Like, what would I want in a website? But if you are a very specific type of person, the audience for that is very small. So let's say that I'm a specialist doctor, and I'm writing to other specialist doctors like me. The audience is very small, but if instead it was like, you know what, I'm going to write a website that's all geared toward medical students or prospective medical students. You know, like how big is that audience?
I'm a podiatrist. I'm writing to people
Patients.
with feet, right? Right. Like take
Think
the
big, folks.
information and put it to a bigger audience. We see that all the time.
Yeah. So sometimes like there's content needed for people that are going into the medical profession, but man, if you pick a really small audience, you're going to get really small traffic.
It's hard to get it just
really
right. Small enough for low competition, but too small and you're dead in the water. All right, next is a bunch of pass-fail stuff. So in Project 24 in our course, we used to see a lot when we would review sites that they just had done a lot of things correctly, but they fell down on a couple technical steps that would have been easily fixed, but it's the first time making a website, it's pretty easy to make mistakes. So we created a step-by-step process to make sure people were getting a lot of those things. And then we created a WordPress theme called Acabado. And the whole purpose was like, you can't mess up SEO, right? Yeah. Like it's built in at the theme level to get it right. All of the technical SEO stuff. And so you're not going to have your website fail because you didn't send a sitemap to Google. Right. You just won't, right? But if you have a site that's lower than 25 on PageSpeed Insights, and it doesn't have SSL, and you can't navigate to all the pages from the home page, and, yeah, it's going to fail. And we saw that a lot. So just make sure on all these pass-fail things, they're taken into account on your project.
Absolutely. The next one is the 5:30 rule.
Great time to wake up, by the way.
Excellent. It's a good time of day. I was up a little
5:29, not so much. No. Too early.
5:45, that's sleeping in. I slept in today till 5:45. Okay, so the 5:30 rule states this. If your top 5 blog posts on your website, as measured by Google Analytics, you just go into behavior overview. That's the view. If those top 5 blog posts bring in more than 30% of the traffic to your website, again, Google Analytics tells you the percentages, so just total them up. If they bring in more than 30%, we got a problem. We're standing on just a really precarious peg leg, right? We have seen...
Not like one of those nice new peg legs.
No,
those things are great.
No, there's those ones
really
now that...
wooden ones.
No, yeah, those old pirate ones with just like a stick. Man, you don't want to be standing on just one of those.
But the point is, if you have just a few blog posts doing well and bringing in all the traffic, all it takes is for one person to write one blog post that leapfrogs you, and you could lose a huge chunk of your traffic.
Now, it's important to filter that traffic by organic search traffic, right? So do that filter, because if you're looking at total page views, you might see that people are coming to lots of pages on your website, but they're not coming directly to there. They may be navigating to there through your website. We did a coaching call. We did a consult with a person who had a website where almost all of the traffic, like 90% of the organic traffic, and I really do think it was about 90%, came to one blog post that did a really good job of pushing people to other resources on the website. The site was well monetized. It was such that
it was his full-time income for years.
Yeah.
And what he saw was exactly what you were explaining. He saw, oh no, not more than 30% is coming to one blog post. They're going all over the website. Yeah. But it's because they had one entrance page from Google, and it was an ideas list, and so they would click to a bunch of these different posts. And so because he didn't dig into the analytics, he didn't realize that for years his whole family's income was reliant on
one blog post.
One blog post.
And when he lost his ranking on that, somebody just outranked him for that one search term. He had to go get a job. Like his income just went away. All of his traffic went away. I mean, he was standing precariously on a peg leg. It was very sad to see.
And you can see how a lot of people could make that mistake. Now, don't worry if your site is new. If you're 5 months in and you're seeing this, well, that's completely normal.
Right.
Not enough of the posts have had time to rank. But once your site gets a little established, that is a number to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Attention, not attention. All right, the last one is just checkbox style writing. It's so easy when you make your hit list to just like crank every morning. You're going to write your post and get after it, and you're not really thinking like, is this the most helpful answer to this query when compared to everything else when I just Google it? Like, take the time to design your page, put it in a table, bold some stuff, make a call out paragraph, take time to go take a custom picture that really illustrates what you're talking about and is helpful. It's so hard because we have this dynamic of speed. I've got to put out enough content, and quality that it's so good it's going to rank #1 on Google. And if you want help with this, go check out our SEO webinar that we did. It's our complete 2020 guide to SEO, and it's going to walk you through the process that we do, the fundamentals to make sure we're creating the kind of content and doing the other things on a site that get it to rank. So go check it out, and don't let your site